Advanced and Professional Studies. Today we are kicking off the business development forums that Ciaps organizes every year. And today, this one is for the first quarter. And we believe the first quarter we should start with the heart of the corporate entities, that is the human resources. So the topic today is unlocking business transformation, human resources perspectives. As the invite states, we have three main objectives. That is to understand global practice, own Nigerian sector. As you know, we are quite distinct from other parts of the world. So we get the best practice international level. Now, by the grace of CIAPS, we can bring it down to Nigeria and impact our businesses. The second aim, I'm beginning to feel like a celebrity. That's why I'm nervous with all these cameras. The second aim is to leverage business knowledge to foster professionals like in the human resources practice, because you're really the heart of the company. And then understand the disruptions which we usually experience in Nigeria and see them as opportunities, objectives. That is, when you have this break in transmission, you can still progress with the business. Our aim for this forum is to entertain, reflect, and plan the business growth. We want you to interact. That's why we are having a roundtable informal setup. And like Professor Killer said, this is just part of our own efforts to understand and help to improve the world we live in. I hope you enjoy yourself and that good networking. Welcome once again, and thank you.
The people online. That's okay. Yes, and they can interact when they want to, because I think we have more people online than face to face, but that's all right. So my task at this moment is to introduce us to the Ciaps HR forum and to find the nexus between Ciaps and event of today. Later on, we shall have conversations around the issues, the themes that we've decided and we've picked out. So I hope not to bore those who know already, but for the benefit of who do not know, the Center for International Advanced and Professional Studies is a graduate school that focuses on training individuals who want to progress in their careers, either by earning higher level of qualifications or improving on what they're doing already. So what that means is that, for example, if you have a graduate degree, a bachelor's, we offer programs into master's level, or we offer concrete professional courses. We work with organizations to help train their current staff, and we also work with them to bring in new staff. Now, we're trying our best in everything we do to mix theory and practice to see that what we're doing in the classroom meets the requirement of everyday world, and actually our curriculum and our people, who are our own products, meet what the corporate world needs to generate wealth and to solve problems that they deal with. This forum, which is the first this year, which we hope to be a quarterly forum, is dedicated specifically at the HR because we've realized that part of the problem we have for generation of wealth, production, increasing productivity, and meeting great standards is the disconnect between skills and intention, is the disconnect between capacity and desired results. And it appears to us that in companies, while HR is at the forefront of recruiting and terminating, there does not seem to be this continuous input of HR in transforming the business. We're all guilty of this. On one side, it is because management, i.e., owners, MD, and board, just assume that the role of HR is to put out brief when vacancies are there, discipline people, or deal with their packages. Now, we argue that actually HR should hold a fundamental role in the conception and the improvement of business. Because ultimately, the great ideas and the great equipment we might have, what makes it work is people. And who is that manages people more? HR. But it appears that it is management in terms of general manager, admin manager, marketing manager, product manager, communication manager, and so on, that manages people. So we want to change that equation and say, actually, to transform the business, let HR hold a central role. in the process of business planning and business projection and promotion, because the people that would do it come out of HR. Now, to do that, here's what we're planning to do. We want to have a journey with HR people so that from the onset, we can plan ahead together. If we agree the importance of the role of HR in business transformation and business growth, then let us from the onset get HR to be totally involved, so that as we're planning what we want to achieve, we'll be planning the kind of people we need as well, and we'll have an idea. Just as we plan our product, our service, and our standards, we have an idea of the exact kind of people we need and how we want them to grow. So we keep shaping them together. So today, what we're planning to look at is business transformation, but from the HR perspective. We can look at it from, from communication, from product conception, from marketing, from operations. But we want to look at it today from the HR perspective to see how we as HR people, and I say we because it's twofold. We have a team of HR experts that we're going to come on board. The rest of us who are educationists, we also feel like HR people because we actually train those people. We try to tell them that this is what the corporate world needs. This is what you need to know to be able to create wealth and increase productivity. So to that extent, we're hoping for a partnership with HR, a partnership that is theoretical and idea-oriented in the sense that we share curriculum together. But we also hope for a practical partnership because now, if we're planning this thing together, then we can decide who to recruit together. We can have an idea what kind of people to recruit. Then we can have an idea what kind of thing to train them once they're in our company as well. What are the specific kind of trainings we should be giving to them? Because whilst we have regulation requirements and perhaps product and service requirements, and we start looking at what I'm about to say now today, there's a new requirement we should not look at, the new kind of people we're dealing with. Never before in the history of human capital management is Nigeria facing a crucial thing. Our best staff, given the chance, they will leave us and go abroad tomorrow. It's a new thing that we're not, used to. Our best staff, well, people are getting younger now, but up till about 6 years ago, people took pride in saying they've been with the same company for 20 years. Now, they seem odd to be in the same company for 20 years now. People actually want to show that every 4 years they're changing company. And I think the new HR manager needs to start from that, to understand that we're dealing with a new kind of individual that is not in the textbooks we grew up with anymore. And how do we shape those things? An example of this is that starting whoever's been to another kind of event here will know that normally we arrange the hall expecting a lot more people. But another kind of world is where we know that actually, no, few people are going to be here, a lot of people will be online. And those are the kind of things we need to look at now. As people will say better than me soon, the new HR manager should know that you're dealing with a new generation, almost a new species of human beings who thrive by being liked. They post on social books because they want to be liked. That matters to them more than any other thing. If they post picture and they're not liked, some of them are sick, they refresh it a lot of times to see if people are liking them. All those things have consequences in the way people react and they produce. So I think as I welcome us with this kind of inside idea to what we want to do, what happens today and the reactions we keep having with you from your desk and your companies will help us shape the way forward. We hope this will continue to be a quarterly event and that we can own it in terms of topic, what we do, and how we do it. But, as we say, the intentions are clear, we should see as we go ahead. So to have a good conversation today, we've got together a few group of people. We have somebody you've met before, Tutu Bashmaru, who's a lawyer, an educationist, career consultant. And by the way, she's helping us do, I mean, she's part of Ciaps, of course. She's helping us do something great at Ciaps now, which you'll soon be hearing from her, which is the link between what we call our own product, our graduates, and your companies. So that we can work together in terms of what to teach them, how we go on together for internship, job placement, and hopefully recruitment. Mind you, it is important to know that when we partner together, our students and graduates are not just people who want to work with you. It is important to know that a lot of them are actually partners and users of your products. They're people who not only could be your employees, but they actually could be your biggest clients as well, because many of them are planning to set up their own business. So it's a kind of peculiar relationship. It's a which you only get in business schools. It's not the normal please employ our students relationship kind of thing. So I think it's crucial we underline that. So she will be leading that Ciaps Connect project, which is connecting graduates with companies and the corporate world. Some of you will already do trainings for your staff already. We work together on those things, but we hope to continue to new ones. We have Ayo over here. Well, we didn't give her a round of applause. You can't, it's not, there's nothing wrong with that. She wouldn't be lied to. Ayo over here, which some of you know. Please come over here. So you're going to lead it, which we have as the, yes, thank you. Ayo is HR expert by excellence. He's a group head up of many companies. I don't even know. Apparently, a lot of the companies are different from each other. We dare not. Then that will be the story of who just HR expert and now she's gone into farming. Tell us a bit about that yourself. So what we try to do is have a conversation amongst ourselves. It's a roundtable, it's not a lecture. To the extent that people who know about it have that is the essence of the conversations between. Are you aware?
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. And I'm very pleased to be in the midst of our colleagues and the panelists. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, right, when Prof said to me, we need to organize HR forum that focuses on business. I said, that's great. He said, okay, let's put it together. And one thing that gladdens my heart most time is talking to professional colleagues. Like the topic states, unlocking the business transformation. Sorry, unlocking the business transformation, HR perspectives. To my mind, I realized that things are happening. So when I thought about it, how can we set the ball rolling and create the moment in which, everybody will have 1 or 2 things to say. So I decided to approach it in a different way. Can I have my slide? So I decided to, you know what? Let me provoke the thoughts that we have. We already know. Business. Even if you are doing the woman that is making this not chops and co. But let me tell you, the way that is being transformed today, what transformation, to my mind, shouldn't be seen as a big word. It's an abstract that happens every minute. And something is created, something that makes it being transformed. And fundamentally, the fundamental factor. So I will. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us see it as an opportunity to interact. We're going to do it together because we are colleagues. We'll talk about. Prof was saying sometimes during the introduction or introductory speech that HR should be part of the business. This has been one of those things in the CIPM that we need to be at the center of the table. So we are strategic partners to the business. We're no longer the personnel manager of those days. We're not firing and hiring colleagues anymore. We take part in business decision. So while I wait for my slides to come up, let me just give a brief introduction of myself. My name is Ayowe, not Oweye that Prof said. Oweye. I'm privileged to be the group head, Human Resources for Insight Redefining. Insight Redefining is the marketing communication group of Troika Holdings. And we have about 5 companies in that particular group, each of them doing different things. I'm a full member of CIPM, and I'm a certified senior professional in HR. And I've been doing this job again for about 20 years. So it's a privilege to be part of us, and we can learn from ourselves. So talking about this, excuse me, please. All right. So let me quickly be talking to you about. It's important to have that slide. It makes it flow very well. Like Madam Tutus, the objective is very clear. We want to at least understand the global HR trend and localize it and see how we have to, again, get things done. We want to leverage on the knowledge that we've gotten here to foster a professional HR practice. And at the same time, we want to understand the impact of disruption in this business and see the opportunity to advance business objective. Honestly, the last option that making HR strategic partner in the advancement of business is the focal point of discussion. By the time we understand the trend and we realize that life is no longer static, it's now dynamic. One of the good things now is the technology, and so I'm going to open it here until it gets it done. So, thereafter, we will discuss and agree. We are currently in a world that is changing very fast. Very fast. We've moved from industrial age to digital age. There was a time that if you must travel, you must be driven by horse, carts, the horse that we pull in it. So we got to first industrial generation, wherein the steam and everything started to come in, move to second generation, industrial generation, move to third industrial generation, and like that. So, Now, this world, today, we are in the digital age. What is the implication of this digital age for HR professionals? It has brought in an epochal change. When something is an epoch is a situation whereby the rate it's happening is very fast. You cannot plan today and expect it to be the same tomorrow. So the change is phenomenal. And the key features of this is fundamental challenge that alters features like yesterday. So what this will do to us is that even if you are bringing in anybody, you don't hire for current job. You hire for where the business is going. And by doing that, you realize that life itself is full of this journey. And if you look at it, we have these industrial generations. First industrial generation, second industrial revolution, third industrial revolution. Currently, we're at the fourth one. The issue we have currently now is that this fourth one is an epoch. And as we go along this discussion, we realize that we cannot sit down and be applying the policies that was drafted 20 years ago for today. It may not work. It may not work. In fact, one of those things HR should stop doing is to put policy before people. Because things are changing. Your policies must be dynamic. And as we go along, if you look at it, just to elucidate that diagram, you will notice that this fourth digital revolution that we are in, 2019, to do remote work in this part of the country somebody will say it's not possible. Prof was telling me today that 60% of the attendees are online. But today is happening. And maybe next year, I don't know how many of us have heard of metaverse. Maybe by next year, metaverse will be all over. When the man that invented Zoom did it, he never knew that he would make a lot of money. But metaverse is coming, in which case you do things in the virtual world. And we'll be in your house. We'll be seated like this. You are in your house, you are attending meeting or you are attending training, and you will be like this. You are seated. Now, if you would agree with me that anybody who is in charge of managing people should start thinking of what kind of talent, what kind of skill set that will be required at that time. And this is the reason why we need to look at business transformation from HR perspective, because the world is changing very fast. If you look at this, I hope maybe you go there. I think you can. I think you can go there. Probably after that you can learn. So that you won't be turning. So, if you look at this thing, we have a mechanical world, mechanical system. We move to information system. And 15 years ago, it was what? The internet system. Now, what is happening already? Today, different technology are coming together to make work better. There was a time taxi is the only thing, yellow car. and you have to go by the roadside before you get the taxi. But today, in the middle of your room, you order Uber, and they're there. And they're there. Today, you can decide you don't have to own anything. Co-location, co-ownership is coming on board just because of the disruption of the world by digital technology. And you want to tell me that the kind of competencies of people that were then, if they don't get transformed, will be the same people that will be useful now? I really don't think so. We need to understand that the world is fast changing. And let's look at Nigeria. MTN, when it first came, was just a telecommunication business, isn't it? But today, they are moving to banking, fintech technology. Do you know what made them do that? Because the like of Flutterwave, that is a fintech company, is making a lot of money. Within 2 years, this guy from $250, the $1 million, the valuation became $3 billion. And MTN is transforming from just ordinary telecommunication business to the banking, fintech, and just because they have the platform. And I know that the kind of people that will be needed now will be different from those ones in telecommunication. And who is responsible for getting those? HR. And if HR is not in tune with what is happening, how will he know the kind of people to be taken? Whether you are in manufacturing or service industry or whatever it is, the automation is the thing now. How are we getting prepared? The key feature of those days was that, those times, we just want to survive. We just want to survive. The standard of living is what we look out for. It's what we want to look out for. We just want to survive. But today, the quality of life is what matters to us. And listen, people, the disruption of this world by digital technology is making it happen very fast. And I have to appreciate some of us that are here today. With the fuel scarcity, 60% of the attendees are online doing that. Why? Quality of life. They don't want to stress themselves. So if you have a business that is not focusing on a quality of life for your employee, please watch it. And they run away. The new digital age is unleashing phenomenal and devastating consequences. You can't tie them down anymore. They just want to be their own. We sent an invite for a candidate to come in for interview. The next response is that, can we make it online? Can that happen 3 or 4 years ago? You invited a candidate for interview. He said, can we make it online? So because I'm not available. Kai. We place advert for management training. If you see the number of respondents, within 1 week, we have to shut it down because massive. Lo and behold, colleagues, when we invited them for aptitude test to come and write, people did not show up. They're asking, can we do it online? It's bringing devastating consequences to us, and we need to be prepared on how to manage it. Those days, I will be angry. I will be angry. Well, when people will be gate crashing to come and write aptitude test. But today, I told my team, you know what? Anybody that wants to write online, send it to them. Bring them. We have to repeat to get the thing. Somebody walked into my office one time. He said, "Sir, I want to resign." What happened? I'm just tired. I need to go and take some rest. 23-year-old man. I call him man because he's an adult. Can you do that? Because you know why? They're looking for quality of life. This new digital age has brought in short cycles. Things are happening very fast. Payment is very fast. Those days, you have to go to the bank and queue to withdraw money, to send or to transfer money. If I say, "Oh, I will give you money now," you're expecting it to sharp, sharp. Now, the kind of talents that will manage that kind of business or organization must be the one that is thinking very fast. You don't want to have someone that is thinking long time because life cycle is now short. Responses, email, now, WhatsApp. That's why our Nigerian system is not, let's give an example. Nigerian postal service is not making money now. Those days, a lot of money, because everybody will post. But nobody posts letters now. But whereas, if they had, responded to this epochal change, come on, they would have come up with some business transformation. UK Postal Service still works till today. So this is the reason why we need to understand that business transformation is epochal. And it is happening because of this digital technology that is really fast running at us. Expectations are now uncountable, and lifespan is very short. Listen, colleagues, there's no longer middleman. You can't say you have a business and you say, "Oh, that's my customer." There's no customer. No. So when you bring in a talent or an employee to manage a client, he better does it very well. Because everybody is looking for what is good. There's no middleman. It's gone. When it's gone. Because here, anything I can even market myself here today. I don't even know who is looking for, maybe watching this online. Somebody will say, "Oh, this guy is good. Oh, can I invite him?" Before, I will have to go through Prof. Prof will introduce. Workplace today is full of 5 generations. Workplace today, full of 5 generations. And the funniest thing is that the last 2 generations are dominating the workplace. Of women because they want to do something amazing. The daughter of my friend just finished service. But because of what she could do on her phone, she got a job that pays 500,000. It's still serving. No. I have a staff in my office currently. He has a job. He got a job on remote. So he wanted to resign. But this guy is so amazing that we can't let you go now. I asked him, "Tell me, from what time do you do the work?" Time difference. He does the work from 9 p.m. till around 3 a.m. Oh boy, we can still do this one now. So what was happening in abroad, that people do 3, 4, 5 jobs, is happening in Nigeria. So HR needs to think. So we don't, but if you put it by policy, it won't work. That can never happen. Because the policy says you cannot work for 2 competitors at the same time. For God's sake, my computer is abroad now. Why am I troubling myself? What I need is do the work. We should stop focusing on activity. We should focus more now on result. And this is where performance management is very critical. You don't just set it. I'm not talking about personal appraisal. Clearly setting the expectations and goals. What are you expecting me to do? At what time? The more I do it, cares. I work in an organization that is very free. One of our culture, in fact, the culture we preach is culture that allows freedom and accountability to try. And by freedom, you can be anything. People who just, is working, you just work out, you go and smoke, come back. Those things can happen. So this is the reason why I'm saying that HR needs to understand what causes business transformation. So business transformation is not when the building changes or they change the culture or whatever. Or processes will change because we need to respond to change in what is happening in the world. And honestly, I don't know how many of us now have generations in the workplace. They are the fantastic generation. I won't call them the other way. I'm not joking. I was talking to one of them. We were talking, and he was busy chatting, using his phone. In my office, it's not that I went to his table. If I went to his table, I won't even mind. I won't even mind because I understand. But he came to my office for a meeting, and he was busy doing what? Small boy. I said, I'm talking. He said, I know, I'm following you. And truly, really, ask him to repeat everything I said. He will repeat it verbatim. They're the kind of people with different kind of talent and skill set, and that require different kind of management. People, the world we live in now is this. There's a time, before you play music, you have to buy CD. Cassette. Yeah? Like that. Finance, you have to cash. I don't know how long I have cash now. Now, 2 or 3 years ago or thereabout, you buy music online. But today, you don't need to even buy. You can subscribe, watch movie, Netflix, like that. Things are changing. So, if those ones are like that, then the solution of the future do not fit the container of the past. So stop thinking of, oh, this is the way we used to do it. Oh, this is what our policy says. Oh, this is the procedure for this. Okay, if your resumption time is 8 o'clock to whatever, and now there is a fuel scarcity, hey, come up with something quickly to address that. If you're too rigid, you understand it? People will take a walk. So the solution of the future does not fit the container of the past. So HR needs to start thinking along this system. Because business is at a turning point. Digital native companies now fundamentally transform every industry. Whether you are in entertainment industry, marketing industry, manufacturing, whatever it is, your industry, digital is transforming it, is leading it. Those days, photographer, they will take picture, go somewhere, maybe after 2 or 3 days, go and wash it, bring the films. Do you like it? Put it in the dark room, begins to work. But today, with large-scale digital disruption, people, organization must now adapt and lead in the new. And when you talk about organization, three focal responsibility officers in organization: the business leader, the finance leader, and the people leader. The business leader is the CEO, for example. Let's just put it. The person in charge of finance, managing the books, and the person in charge of people is critical. And let me tell you, even the CEO and the finance person are your people. So you two need to manage them. What are the days in which case HR is yes, sir, go and fire, yes, sir? You just need to lift yourself up and get it done. And how do you do it? Following the trend. Read them up. Understand the dynamics of what is changing. And now begins to adapt all those policies within the global best practice. So you have to reimagine and elevate technology as strategic core HR function. I change it from business now. HR function. Because the moment a business changes, you need to look at the implication on people. What is the impact on the process that will make my people do well? If you look at, we did a survey recently. One of the problematic issues that we have in workplace today is psychological well-being, mental disorder. People will just be having migraine, headache. Why? Because there are a lot of things that are happening that is really triggering that. Those days when you have a nursing mother, you dare not bring her kids to the office. Abi? But nowadays, most organizations now have crutch. So if you're not thinking, you want to be like this, believe you me, people will just go. And we are the center of implementing this or executing this. Not even execution, even coming up with the ideas. Because you understand the trend, you understand the implication on people, and you want to keep your people. By the time we go, you see that it is important that you don't want to just work and let your work go in vain. And for that not to do it, then please take note. Digital is running very fast. All these companies now, the startup like Sparkle, Filterwave, they are going. Even if you are manufacturing, we have so many. There was a time, newspaper, they will print it in Lagos. The paper will read here in Lagos will be the one they will read in a Kano tomorrow. If you notice those days, they don't read what we read in Lagos in up north those days. But today is online, immediate. Are you now saying to me that the skill set of those days will be useful today? Now, this is where we need to bring in the application of the theory we know about job design, organization design, every time to bring it to fore. All those theories are very necessary. But the application now should not be containerized. So, the implication of all these things we'll be talking about the trends, the disruptions, and everything. What about it? People will now have different kind of jobs. We now have different kind of jobs. Even in HR, we have different kind of HR now. Somebody will say, I am impact specialist. HR. I am a culturist. HR. Talent acquisition professional. And listen to me, if you look at what they do, it's amazing. People are making money. But today, HR, they pay 100,000, we are fine. And if you look at the specialist, the specialization of this particular something, a lot of areas we can make money. There are different kinds of jobs now coming up. In my office 5 years ago, we just have only about 7 different kinds of jobs. But one job today is been split into about 4. And listen, we are looking for someone with multi-skill. It's not that now, what I can do is just to write copy. It doesn't matter, you have to do all service. I'm only machine operator. Machine operator who could not diagnose, who could not troubleshoot, who don't understand what is really happening. Since there is going to be different kind of job, of course, there will be what? Different kind of skill sets. And which will translate to what? Different kind of talents and their needs. There was a time in my office, you have to have a very big desktop before you can work. But now, technology has advanced. With my phone, when this thing was delayed, I started opening my phone, I was started. Their needs are changing. The talents you have are changing. Please, I call talents. You see, we have 2 types of employee at workplace. There is one we call talent, and there's one I called body. Talents are those exceptional human beings that demonstrate competencies for higher level and do what they do and committed to what they do. They show up at any time to do the work, and they are happy to do what they're doing. The bodies are those employees for me. They said I should resume 8 o'clock, I will resume 8 o'clock. And 5 o'clock, I will close. And I have 1 hour break. Within the 1 hour break, I'm going to break that 1 hour. And during that 1 hour, they call him, oh boy, come and do this thing. I'm on break. Yes, and he's right. He's right. But do you want that kind of people in your system? I don't think so. Then how do you transform them to talent? Then it is our responsibility. What will make them motivated to do what they want to do? And people, there's so many, we should stop thinking about money only. No. I asked one of my staff, he said, I just look at her, I said, what's wrong with you? He said, nothing, I'm fine. But the way I look at her, I said, you know what? For the next 2 weeks, work from home. You can imagine the joy, the happiness. And I put a call to her. I said, well, how are you doing? And productivity level higher. What is the issue? He said, thank you. It's like you really understand. Waking up early in the morning to get ready to work is a problem. Their needs are now different, very fast changing. So HR should look at those. And people, you are not directly responsible for them. Their line managers are directly responsible for them. Therefore, it is your responsibility to bring those line managers to your level. You're not going to tell them what they should do, but you try as much as possible to let them understand the implication of what they're doing. Because there are 2 critical things that make a workplace stand out: line management, consequence management. People work for people. So, which is the ways of talent management? You don't have to roll out policies or whatever. You just have to ensure that the line managers do what they're supposed to do and be there as habitat. So we need to have different kind of talent retention. Listen to me, people. People are rushing out now in Nigeria. Even if I have opportunity to, probably I will run away. If I'm thinking like that at this age, at this time, how much more those guys? And you can imagine if one of your talent leaves, the cost of recruiting another one is even more. So you start thinking of better way to do that. Look at these three industries. You will notice that mobile tech, media and entertainment, social media, whatever, influencer marketing. The job now will be different from job 5 years ago. So as HR, we need to redesign the job. If you find yourself in an organization that the processes have changed, automation has come in, things have happened, why do you still keep the same job? You need to quickly look at it. Those days we used to have front desk. What she does is just to receive visitor. Today, that job has been redesigned fast. Because it's the face of the business. He needs to understand, in fact, it's a salesperson. You need to redesign the job in such a way that that person will be challenged. We have to leave this world, colleagues. The board will come and say, this is what I want you guys to achieve, isn't it? They set the mandate. Then the CEO will come, throw it at people, guys, what do we do? But people, you are the one that will understand the implication on people. How can we try and make it happen without causing negative consequences in them? The new competition is no longer between independent companies, but what? Between complex business ecosystem. We know what ecosystem. So it's not the building, it's not the we can be doing the same thing. If you go to a Jumata, all those people they sell the same thing, but yet they still make money. We could be saying the same thing to people today, it doesn't matter. Competition is no longer there. But it is a complex ecosystem. How well are you adapting? How do you attract people? What kind of customer are we doing? And how do we making them to work? That's the cocoa. And which is to compete with another to obtain the best customer service, leveraging talent. Leveraging talent. If you want to build a house today, and you want that house to stand till probably for the next 50 years to remain the same. Julius Berger came and give you are rich, you have the money. 1 billion naira to do it. Ayowe and Co came and gave you 100 million naira. Same structure, same look. People, who would you have confidence that you will do the work? You know why? Because that business has created something for itself. So, believe you mean there's no competition? What will stand you out are the kind of talents, qualities that you have. Eba that you will eat in Mama Put 200 naira. That's the same and a goosey soup. The same. The same. Just take it to Sheraton or all these videos. And you pay 3,000 naira, 5,000 naira. You will not complete. So there's no competition between companies again. And it is the complex business ecosystem. And customer service is the issue. Who is the driver? And it's very critical in this. So what let us understand the The global trend, what is common in the global trends today? Can please, I lost global HR trend. What is common? Anyone? Anyone? Global, what is happening? What is the usual global HR trend? We need to understand it. Flexibility, Prof said it. The kind of culture that we build. Attrition, we call great resignation. Motivation factors. Because what will happen, what you like, will be different from mine. We need to please understand that trend. Understand the business dynamics. And align this with HR strategy. You know, we keep saying HR strategy. HR is like it's a big word. No. They're just action plan to mitigate certain things, to address certain issues. Every HR strategy must align with this, must focus on all this, and you can only do that if you truly understand it. And that's why I took time to bring us from there. I hope you see this. Unfortunately, it's not there. There is no destruction of competencies. And at the center of it today is data. Whether you're a shoemaker, I know they call themselves cobbler now, or whatever, data. How many people use IE? If you have it, for example, it will be easier for you to produce. If only few people, maybe 10% of people use IE shoe, and everything you do is IE, will you make money? You want to promote people into next level. And you know that when they get to that level, they always run to abroad. You know something we have to be very careful. So data is at the heart of every decision making. So that's where our HR analytics comes in. I have every day, I look at my dashboard. How many people, what's the tribe? People living, who is not happy? What's the ratio of millennial to Gen? In fact, I look at one, I think last week, I realized that in one of my companies, one of our companies there, 52% of our workforce are less than 2 years. 52% are less than 2 years. 81% of the 52% are less than 1 year. It's a big issue. So data is very necessary for us. And you have to focus more on it because it tells you to think rationally, to take pragmatic decision without emotion. You know, whenever there is the emotion, there can never be pragmatism. So as HR practitioner, we need to let data help our decision making. So what must we do? Please, we need to reinvent our organization culture. Culture is way of life, isn't it? I would normally say it's the way the landlord or the CEO behaves. Even you, every leader contributes. But believe you me, it is what you allow that go. In my place, we said a culture that allows freedom and accountability to thrive. So freedom, you can be anything. You can walk straight to me and be grouped. Yes, it doesn't matter. Because for me, I have the best idea. Let it be. Reinvent your culture. What kind of culture? If you have a culture that is aligned, toxicity, backbiting, it won't work nowadays, based on what we've said. We need to allow flexibility. We need to rethink the way and how we work. The era of you must resume so time, you must close so time is gone. People, even if you work in the factory, even if they work in the factory, there should be a way to allow them easy way. well-being. Please, all these are the global issues, global trends, issues that is trending, and we need to take note of them. Wellness of our people are critical. It's not only physical, but psychology or emotional. It is important that we take note of all these things. And there is epic talent migration. I'm the most hit of this. Canada, 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 Canada. So we need to quickly come up with a strategy that will mitigate this. Why? Because organizations that can reimagine how work gets done will have a decided edge. So it is our work done that we need to be thinking, because we have the result ahead of us. Result is the focus, nothing more. So the way we get it done matters. It is no longer optional, people. It is not. We need to step up the game. We need to understand that businesses are moving very fast as a result of digital disruption. And therefore, we need to be on our toes to say, what can we do? How can we do this? In fact, before it happens, you're already thinking ahead. And that's why you won't be caught unawares. And we are the only one that can do it, because they come to you. If you're still HR manager that people cannot approach, please go and change. If you're still HR manager or HR professional that they don't even want to, anytime they see you, it's problem. If you are the HR professional that when you invite a staff, is already shivering. Come on. Not anymore. Not anymore. Yes, we know we have authority. We know we have power. We can hire, we can fire. But believe me, people, don't do it. Let's follow that process. Let's encourage them. We exist because of them. Without them, they cannot be company. Policies are made for them. They are not made for policies. So if you must implement your policies, implement it with humankind, human face. It is critical, because today business is as transformed and give power to these people. Thank you very much.
We're going to move into general discussions now. I think that's why everybody's moving back, so we can speak among ourselves. I think, to my mind, it is clear what the kind of future we are proposing here, which is for HR managers to reclaim, consciously rediscover that central role they have to play in business transformation. For HR managers to step up to become partners of business leaders and indeed of people in the business. So in a way, to become partners with generals and soldiers in our organizations. Now, the next step we're going to go to is how, so that we can bring out possible challenges we envisage and then share some ideas on how to do it. I want to bring out three things, and I call them the 3 C's of this kind of strategy, which matters, which I think we should just understand that we need to. One is consequence, the other one is connectedness, and the other one is communication. Allow me to read from left to right. We start from communication. If we agree everything that we said, one of the first issues we're going to have is to learn to make a case to the board, to senior management, that, for example, we want to change the way we do business. based on our ability to understand the global trend, based on our understanding that people are changing, based on our understanding that the people we're dealing with, the world in which we're dealing, is not the same anymore. So we need to make a case, because what we are seeing is not what management is saying. It's not what the board is saying. Are we together? Does that make sense? So I think one of the things we need to find out, maybe not today, but we have to bear it in our mind, that maybe moving forward, start thinking along that line. How do we learn to make the case to the communication? It's a vertical thing. How do we make the case to those above us? How do we make the case to below us and even on our side? How do we make them see this thing? The other thing is consequence management. The moment we decide to take a step, we must know there is consequence of this step. We must see what will happen if I go left or right, if I do or I do not do, if we decide to take this policy rather than the other. The other thing we also need to do, while it is true about these different worlds that we have to understand flexibility, we have to understand the motivation, they want to be liked, they also have to know the consequence for their own action as well. Because otherwise, not only there will be anarchy, but there will be no result. If we are result driven and we share expected results, I think that's the way you put it, share expectations, I think we should also see the consequence of it. We cannot be a sales team. One person is bringing 70% of the sale, another is bringing 30, and you expect to have equal bonus or even equal treatment in the company. So let people know from the onset that there will be consequence of their actions, just as we think of consequence as well. One of the things we need to explore as well is modern technique for consequence management, which, as I was saying, is not the old HR is coming, let me fear. But it's not, we can't as well lead people by HR is coming, it matter. So we have to strike a balance. So it matters if the manager is coming. It's just that you should know that it could be up, it could be down. It doesn't have to be fair. The third thing is connectedness. Now, connectedness allows us to link vision, operation, and policies together, and targets together, being connected to everything. Connectedness allows us, for example, to let those who we are managing feel where they belong to in the business, because they're connected to it. They see, so that if we follow the modern idea proposed to say that you don't have to come in, you don't have to resume at 8 today because nothing is happening. But you should know that if there is need to resume at 6 a.m. tomorrow, then you must be there, based on what we have to do. Maybe you go every day at 5, but if there is need to go at 12, 11 p.m. next day, you must be there. But you can sleep off 2 days later. The important thing is that we have that sense of goal and we're connected to it. We can see, everybody can see where they belong to. So, and sorry, by the way, this connectedness allows us to do something as well. There seems to be normally focus on when we talk about global trend, when we talk about people changing. And I'm very happy that we've mentioned it today. We should look at the ecosystem, not just our people, but the world, because the people we are providing for, we're selling to, are changing as well. They're not the same people anymore. So instant response to what we do. So in preparing our products and services, we need to look at that as well. Because we're looking at that, that gives us an edge when as people we go to the, when we're able to bring the example of our own staff as well to say, and I go back to communication, when we're making a case, we can then make our business cases by using our understanding of people as our assets. Does that make sense, people? So we're moving from human management to business development as well. And the tool, the bridge we're using, is the understanding of people. We know people, we get it. We know that this is what they react to and what they don't react to. So as we open up to general conversation now, I pause, and I think we start from where you're avoiding me. And we start from you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In a way, I almost feel like we should probably hear from you first, since we've said this is an interactive session, and so that um, we can be more entrenched in your personal experiences, really. So, if you don't mind, starting from you, if you could just say your industry and your role, whether you're a business partner or HR manager yourself, and so on. Thank you.
I'm Olokun Odwayo from Allied Computers Limited, the Group Human Resource Manager, Allied Computers Limited and the subsidiaries. So I would say because it's a trading company, management have been able to align my job role as being manager, like you said, and also a business partner. And always at strategic meetings, always attending top management decision-making forums for the group and also for the mother company, Allied Computers. It's been quite challenging, like Mr. Ayo said. There are different types of people in the company. And for the IT industry, no doubt, we are attracting the younger ages that while talking, they've gone 5 years ahead of you. Why still proposing? They know where it would end. So my industry is different. If I'm talking to somebody manufacturing and all that, I always smile. That it's not too challenging because I also have to adapt to listen to them, listen to line management, the board of directors and all that, and align at the bottom line first. Because you ignoring the feelers definitely losing the industry now. So it's quite different for me. It's though challenging sometimes, but I understand the trend and also interacting, networking, and also trying to think ahead had always helped me. And not neglecting the fact that management still wants the best. Even with those fuel scarcity and all that, just like you said, it's a global thing. Those that Ukraine are thinking differently from what we're thinking here in Nigeria. They are thinking of differently how to solve the war and all affecting the workforce. We are closed the time here, 9 can never work anymore. Close 6:30, we never work. Close 4, even 4 p.m. would not work at times. So it's like you being flexible. Everything you've said are very, very relevant, I won't lie. And everybody that would ignore this cannot succeed anymore, the way things are. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Please, a round of applause for that insight. So we just go on quickly.
Yeah, good afternoon. Is it afternoon now? Yeah. Okay, yeah. My name is Fumi Kushalu. I'm an HR professional. Today because as owners, they also need to understand this. And I was very happy when, he was saying that we also need to make a business case so that we can also have their buy-in because there has to be an alignment, to move forward. And most time as an HR business partner or HR manager, you're most times stuck in the middle. You don't know where to, whose side to stay. People are looking at your HR management. And management is you're always advocating, for your staff. And so now you come up to be a witch. Everybody seems to be, your head has to roll and all that. So we need to make a business case and be able to collaborate, with people, bringing them to understand where management, where the staff. So there'll be a balance. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay, so I'm actually kind of new in the HR thing. So, and because I sort of do people that are maybe more experienced, especially in the industry, I work with a media organization. So it's kind of difficult for me to adjust. The first is we have the people that already feel like you don't have experience to actually lead them. So that's the first issue that I have to deal with. And of course, I have another management that feels like, oh, we know you have potential. So they tend to, dictate everything to you. So because of the lack of experience, so to say, they tend to say, you get it, but at the moment, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it. So it's a little difficult, but I'm adjusting, and that's why I open myself up to attending forums like this to also meet people to get the exposure that I need and improve at what I do. Thank you. Well done. Well done. Well done. Okay.
Sorry, I think to help you in that kind of situation, do for them. You don't accept you are new. Because the moment they put you into that place, you'll be subservient to them. So you need to focus on one, earn their respect, and make sure that you lead them. And how do you do that? Network more. It 1, 2, 3, 4, working, they start respecting you. Please don't accept and there's everything will just be like that. You are the professional there. That's why they hire you. So make sure that professionally you stand it, but just be humble, but give your own thing and apply the first statement in management. Try to make your point. Don't try to convince them. So you do this, document it, then they say no. Go back again, document. This is my view. If you do this, this may be the likely consequence, but don't try. But having documented it, if tomorrow what you say is true, they start respecting you.
Sure.
Thank you.
And the good news is that being new, you don't have the baggage of the past, or all the things that bog the old school down. So you have a bit more freedom to, to be creative with your thinking, and you are not bogged down with this is not how we used to do it, because it's a problem. How we used to do it is a problem. I mean, that's the entire essence of today's presentation. All the best. You sound like you know what you're doing. All the best.
And oh yes, go ahead. So, and one thing I think should come in is this: try, because you're new, try to show them something new. That freshness, that thing they try to bog you down with, use it as a block to climb up. To say, yes, I am new. Let me show you something new. Well, hopefully, it will be things that work. Don't go and show them something new that is bad.
Well, I would like to add that you should use Ciaps as one of your backup centers. Like it says, Center for International Advanced and Professional Studies. So you are a professional now. You can use them as a basic. I'm sure Prof runs an open house. And like Mr. Uweye said, research, read. There is hardly any aspects of the economy that Ciaps doesn't have something on. You are in media, they have a course on media. I'm not saying you should come to the course, but you can consult. And they could give you advice and suggestions. So don't be far away from Ciaps. Use Ciaps as your base, your backup here.
You have your microphone there.
Yes, it's here. Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, let me start by saying a big thank you to Mr. Uweye for that fantastic presentation. Yes, I didn't expect anything less actually, and you have. I think you have even done more. Thank you very much. Well done. Very well delivered. After my name is Bisola Ogunlolu, and I'm a HR consultant. I run a HR consulting firm called Bereka Consulting. The way HR is in the history of work, I'm going to put it that way. I don't think there's any time that HR has had so much on its plate than now. There's so much that HR is dealing with. And sometimes, with my many years, few years, but many, it's sometimes I'm faced with situations, or I have situations I need to deal with my clients, and I'm asking myself, is it that you don't have the experience? What? Because I'm asking myself, I need to advise my clients what to do, and I don't even know. So I'm asking myself, is it that I don't understand this HR again or what? But you see, the truth is, as Mr. Ayowoye has so well and aptly pointed out, is the fact that things are changing so fast. So fast that a HR professional today, you must constantly be thinking. Gone are the days when you have to do everything by the book. This is what the policy says. This is what the policy says. We're living in an era now, the workspace is such that, yes, you have a policy to guide you, but people before the policy. In those days in HR, we always say, oh, you can't change it because you're going to set a precedent. That precedent. Don't set a precedent, set the precedent. But today you're asking yourself, okay, so is it about the precedence, or is it about making things happen? Is it about retaining your people? So I think there's so much we're dealing with as HR professionals at this time that we cannot but continue to rub minds and look at issues like this, and together, together share and look at the way forward. So again, I want to say thank you very much to Ciaps for putting this together. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayowoye, for delivering a fantastic paper. I've learned so much from this today that I'm going to take on from here, and also begin to work with. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Edidion Udo. I'm the HR manager for Gulfview Suites and Conference Center. It's a subsidiary of Interguide Group. The head office is Sabar. Uh, Firstly, thank you, Mr. Owe, for for that very interesting talk. I've definitely learned a whole different approach to managing the staff. So my HR journey, I've mostly worked. My whole HR experience had mostly been in the consulting industry. So working in house for the first time, it came with its own challenges, and especially the fact that I came from a consulting environment and more corporate environment to a service industry. That shift has definitely been culture shock, if I'd call it, because the whole thing, or everything I'm used to with the whole corporate lifestyle and everything being to a level strict and super professional, I've had to tone it down a lot in the service industry, in hospitality generally. And I think at first when I came in, I had those challenges because the environmental knowledge, trying to bring what I was used to the environment. I had a whole lot of I'd say blog. Yes, that's the word. Yeah, I had a whole lot of friction, and over time, I decided to try something different, and this definitely has made me try to see a different kind of way to manage the staff, and even with, like you said, something about the global trends with what's happening now, the fuel scarcity. I know it's affecting whole lot of people, and I know definitely if I have to go back to when I go back to the staff, I know I have to look for a way to see. Okay, I don't have to be rigid with the resumption time and the time of grace, and try to just make it easier. That way, I think with everything I've learned, basically, it's going. It's I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm really great. I'm not so great at speaking in public, but just in summary, it's going to really help me relate to my staff better and give everyone a flexible work environment. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question goes to Mr. Ayowoye. Um, it has been observed that most companies, they will lay more emphasis on policies. And you say an HR person in a company like Cadbury or Coca-Cola, for instance, they lay more emphasis on policies. And you say an HR person needs to be aware of the global trend. An HR person needs to be a people-friendly person. An HR person needs to lay more emphasis on results than activity. Now, look at a scenario where we have the Generation Z people, for instance, and look at what is happening in Nigeria today. There's fuel scarcity. So one or two of you of them might say, I don't want to come to work today. I don't want to come to work this whole week because there's no fuel. As an HR person who is people friendly and understand the global trend, what do you do in a situation like this when you are laying more emphasis, you are focusing more on results? Your guys at the top, management wants not only results, but activity also. They want the person to be coming to work all the time. So how do you manage the situation when presenting the case to management? These are some people, they haven't been coming to work for the past 1 week, but they are result oriented, they are getting results. How do you relate with your management?
All right, I'll give you practical experience now. It happened yesterday. My organizations, I stretch the hairs. Yes. Have this crops of talents that need to deliver jobs within the given point in time because of clients' need. And most of them, because of peculiarity of Nigerian business, no power, no internet, so we have to say, come to the office to come and work. So most of the MDs of this company, like you rightly said, I want my people to come to work because I don't want story of power or whatever. Do you know what I said? I have to call them one by one. I said, okay, let us give tomorrow is Friday, work from home, everybody. My guys are sending memo today. Monday, we will look at the trend over the weekend. If by Sunday, the fuel is still there, we will say, don't rush. Just take your time, resume whenever you like. And whoever that comes very, very late or calls to say, I cannot come, just send the person tasks to do. Let me be sincere with you, like Prof said. This is very tricky because if you give them too leeway or latitude, they will abuse it. They will abuse it. And that's why I said, we will not say we will resume 10 o'clock. We've known that we allow people from 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, no problem. But by Monday, resume back to the office. But whoever that fails to resume, what we're saying now is that one, we have, like you said, communication is key. They should reach out to us. I cannot make it. And we've done that culture in Wicked, everybody can talk to anybody. So to answer your question very directly, yes, we have some NDs, leaders of business who are particular about their work. For people, policy is there. It's just to guide us. But the implementation is what I am saying. If anybody comes, somebody that's always coming very, very punctual, very early, somebody comes very late, I want to kill that person. No, you just have to find out why. And it is the manner you do it. And let the line manager do that. So it's important that we need to that's why I concluded that put human face to the implementation of whatever policies we have. Business will always happen. It will. But you keep changing it. But listen to me, people. Communication, thank Prof, is the key thing here. Why are we doing this? What is the reason for this? Why must we do this? And if they know, they will get it. We're online, but I will say, 2 days ago, I've had to ask 2 people to go. I want to fire them. They are MD road. I said, show me evidence that they're not, and loads of that. And the people came, we invited them for the discussion, and listening to them, people, you can see that no, they shouldn't go. Because they too have loads of support. MD said fire. I have evidence that no, these people cannot. I didn't do. I have to call the MD. This. If you still feel that they are not good for you, I can take them away from here. So it happens. So this is the reason why I said HR professional of today should be people first. But when you say people first, because you understand the dynamics of the business, you understand where the business is going, you will know the kind of people to protect. Not all people. Not all people. So, and I think it's no, look at that one. He said the solution of the past cannot, the solution of the future cannot be containerized in the container of the past. So what you do today, the way you apply it today, may be different from the next minute. And this is the reason why I said, guys, we need to be dynamic in everything we do. And being dynamic is what is happening currently. Metaverse is coming. A time is coming that we may not even see ourselves anyway. I read over the news CNN, people are already buying space in Metaverse. MTN has bought. How many of us get to know? And if your staff begin to talk in that realm, and you are not like, come on.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. I think, and also thank you for the question. It's a good time to chip in that the secret to efficient management, human capital management, is to stay ahead of the game. It is not when they are already fought at Idumot and people can't get to work that they called and they are saying, I can't get to work. That HR is now trying to collate data, get information, who are those affected. It's about staying ahead of those incidents, situations, circumstances. Once we know we have peculiar circumstances, when COVID came, when Ebola came, how we all responded with health and safety, we just have to be ahead. If we don't stay ahead of those games, integrity, the HR brand starts to chip away, starts to whittle. So we just have to be ahead of those games. We may not have all the answers, but merely communicating somehow that we understand the situation with the fuel crisis. We understand people will be having difficulties. We will be in touch, and you're doing a whole lot of swimming below sea level. I mean, above surface level, people don't know you're paddling so hard. And then you come up with, however tentative, basic, linear framework for at least keeping selective business operations going, looking for people who can bend backwards for the business to do so. Just staying ahead of the game would help. Being sitting dogs and then someone is saying, I can't come, knowing that you cannot drag them for real, makes one weak. But stay powerful, stay ahead of the game, and we're like doors. We can see inside, we can see outside. Once we entrench our voice by doing the right thing, the right time, getting results with brand management, HR management can get easier where you, like you said, you won't be convincing management. You will just be saying something is coming and we have to act. And then they will say, we know you have an idea. How do we act? They will say, we know for you to have brought it up. And you now say, hey, come, let us listen together. So thank you for that question.
Just to add one more thing. Now you have management at the back, and you have the guy that has requested. You have to be his auntie, his sister-in-law, his friend, to know why he really cannot make that effort. You have to tell him, hey, at the tail end of your appraisal form, there is HR comment. I have to stand for you. So talk to me. Yes. So it would be unfair for you to go and fight on his behalf. And somebody on management team is telling you, oh, you know the story of we are rioting, where a guy led his friends in secondary school and they busted into the principal's office. We are rioting. The principal said, excuse me, boy. He said, I said we are rioting. The principal said, we. He now looked, we, nobody. So you have to look at your situation like that. Thank you.
My name is I work with Gulf Treasures. Gulf Treasures is a downstream oil and gas producer at Apapa. I like forums like this because you can always, unlearn and learn, what more things. I just want to ask a question. How do you deal with a situation whereby the HR does not know it's a single management? We even propose that we have a board. Even if you are not, seated, you don't sit all the time, put externally, get other professionals, but it's a one-man business. Last year alone, we had over 200 staffs that exited across our locations because we have filling stations, all around Lagos, Edo State. So how do you deal in that situation? Recently, a lady resigned from the depot. Before now, we had proposed succession planning because a lot of them, they hold on to their job roles for fear. We always let them know that, oh, this is not you training somebody or mentoring somebody else, allowing somebody to work with you does not mean the person will take over your job role. And then most of all these strategic roles, you must get the management approval before you can do anything. And management is not willing to budge. By the time she resigned, in fact, the software she was using, which is called Depoman, the MD had to take it up himself, and he himself, he was with it. We had to call, those that, sold the software and all that. A lot of issues in the system. The HR is, I'll call a voiceless HR. Just HR job, don't just interfere. Most decisions take must pass through the management. And if you don't get the management approval, because you know these people one-on-one, and management is telling you that I don't care if anybody leaves. I don't care. Just, once they leave, place advert again. At a point that I'm not even going to place advert. Because how long are we going to do this? It's not going to change at all. How do you deal in such situations? Thank you.
Yeah, I will go first. I empathize with you. I won't use the word sympathize. But I'm not surprised. It happens in all these sole proprietorship businesses who believe that they know everything and they don't want to do anything structurally. But listen, the ethics of our institute shows that if you find yourself in between decisions that will make you at least go against the ethics, then better go away from that place. But before you do that, do these three things. Apply the principle of change management. Because if you want the owner to believe that people or your employees are very critical to the business sustainability. So deliberately create the desire, that disruption. Then look, for the past 3 months, we've lost X number of staff. This translates to X figure. And this has impacted our business this way because we need to retrain, we need to recruit. Sir, if you do, listen to, if you recall what I said about data, if you do all those analysis and give it to him as a every monthly or weekly HR report, the cost of attrition to the business, the return of investment based on the recruitment, you do all this analysis, you give it to him. Your decision, the essence of giving to him is not for him to listen, to accept, it's for him to see. So by the time you're coming up with some ideas on how to do it, I'm very sure no businessman wants to invest and not make money. The idea of I don't care, let him go is because yes, you are dealing with talent, with anybody can get the skill. But you just told us there's a software that has to be trained. Just go out from that place and let it do. So apply change management principle. Number two, you may have to put together a kind of manual. Just discuss with him. Where do you want this business to be in the next 5 years? Do you still want to be a filling station across? You want to be a global? Understand his view, understand his aspiration. By the time you understand his aspiration, you can come up with a kind of HR initiative that can help him get there. Listen, if you talk business, if you talk numbers to a businessman, they listen to you. Don't go there with people issue. Don't. But you're talking to him, understanding his business. What do you want to go to tomorrow? How many filling stations? So from there, you can now come up with people initiative that can help achieve that. Oh, if you must do X, Y, Z, we need X, Y type of people. So by the time you submit this to this guy, I think he will listen to you. 3, if you propose, please remember what I said. Just make your point. Don't try to convince. Because if you want to convince, you feel sad if he doesn't take it. Have in mind, oh, I need to make my point because here I have a responsibility. And the responsibility is for me to give advice. There are 3 major responsibilities of HR practitioner in workplace, apart from the technical functions. 1, strategic responsibility. 2, advisory responsibility. 3, change management. So because you understand where the business is going, then you can be strategic in whatever you are doing. Then you now advise. So if you want to advise, so it is not a must for me to take your advice now. So why will you be angry? So leave it like that, but make everything documented and you do it. And whatever things he decides to do, it is your responsibility to make it work so that people will see it from positive point of view. Today, yes, he doesn't care. And whatever decision he has taken, because I believe that gentleman or woman will not do anything that will jeopardize his business. It is our responsibility to make it happen. This is where change management comes in. And if this guy begins to see how you implement his ideas, using these people, he will keep respecting you. He will see you as an ally. He will start listening to you. So he is not your competitor. He's not your fighter. He's not your enemy. It's the way he's wired. And if you want him to respect you, you have to respect him. You have to believe in his vision and applying those things. Thank you.
I think that about sums it up. Okay? Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan Ehi, HR manager with SSAC Advisory and Professionals. Our office is located in Surulere. It's one of an arm of chartered accountants. It's about 35 years in business as chartered accountants. We also have a subsidiary, Ecobar Technologies IT firm. So being here today in this HR forum, it's kind of a learning field for me, and also to try to broaden my knowledge on HR strategic points. Like we have been saying about flexibility, in the past few weeks, we've been experiencing some issues in the country regarding the fuel situation. And with what we've been talking about, flexibility, been a bit challenging trying to manage employees in this situation. But I think one thing we have been able to do, should I say, I myself, because like myself and the other team, have been able to put together a kind of flexibility. We are adopting that, and it's not been easy because sometimes you try to get management buy-in in certain areas and they are not like getting into that. But they've come to realize that there are things that need to change. It's not an easy process, but we are working towards that. I understand that in my organization we have the baby boomers, we have the millennials, we have the general Z. So it's not really easy as well managing this set of people, especially the Gen Z. They have their own set of opinions and views. And when you come up with certain ideas, they'll tell you, no, this is what we feel and want. And we have been able to also adopt a kind of hybrid work space and also remote, mostly for the technology. For the other arm, we are doing a kind of hybrid, getting to manage them in their hybrid situation is not easy as well, because sometimes you get to get near issues like in this fuel crisis. I was not able to get fuel. My laptop is down. I don't have electricity. Internet is not working properly in my area. So these are the issues that we face as HR professionals. But I would also want to pride my team in being resourceful as well. Uh, they understand the need for satisfying clients, because most of what we do, SSAC is a consulting firm. We provide taxation audit services to clients. So they understand the need to meet up with deadlines and provide this customer satisfaction. So it's something that um, they understand as well, and they try to meet up to ensure that these services are provided and the deadline is met. So this forum, Unlocking Business Transformation HR Perspective, is something that we have come to know, we have come to understand, and we are trying to leverage on business transformation. Sometimes management will tell you this process or whatever it is that you are bringing is not something that we can do right now. But I try to make my own point and expect that even if it's like Dr. Owe said, that you don't try to convince them, just state your point. So sometimes I have a colleague that will say, just say whatever you want to say. Let them know that you have said this, and they have it at the back of their mind that, oh, when it starts happening, they know that Susan has said this. So I try to do that as well, and hope that in the long run, they'll come to see certain things. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And just to add to what you said, documentation is critical. It helps to clarify our own thoughts as ourselves as we present, and also sets a trail of how issues evolved, where they could have gone, where we are, so that in case they do want to take up some of the recommendations, there is a proper pathway for that to be taken. Do we have anyone else? This gentleman in front. You don't want to speak? Okay. All right. So, yes, sorry, passing.
Well, my name is Biodun Kopolui. I'm a journalist and I run a media platform, Play TV. I would like to point out something that I noticed from your submission so far, that there is a cultural shift in HR. And given the fact that the environment is changing, and of course this is challenging time. But as regards my industry, there's something that is happening and that is giving me concern. And the fact that the rate at which staff turnover, some of these staff, they are coming in for their own goals. Because you are talking about being creative and, of course, showing them empathy in making some decisions so that you can retain them and so on. But they have their own goals. They want to learn tricks of the trade from you, and after some time, go. They want to acquire some money so they can buy some of the tools, and then they go. Invariably, that will affect, the practice. It will also affect the productivity of the company. So where does HR come in at this point in time? Especially in an industry whereby some of us, we are just managing. After we have worked with big companies, we resign or we retire. Now we are managing, and these guys will just come in and then they want to create disruption. Let me put it that way. So what can we do in this case?
I think
Then
When you need, take the salary of one, give it to 3 people, and train the 3 of them under you, especially if you're a small business. So you can actually then, they grow, the super one will grow, you get another one. But if you want to use the Chelsea thing, if you can buy, then you know as well that they can go anytime and be ready to sell. Does that make sense? That's the idea of it. The other thing, and that's point 2. Point number 3 is that whilst we talk about flexibility, friendliness, adapting and everything, leadership is about setting the pace. If you're a leader, you're not their friend, you're leading them. There's no point to, you can be friendly, but you're not a friend. You can be understanding, but you're not them, you're not their peers. It must be said, it must be understood clearly. What that allows you to do is to now set the pace. No matter the culture you have at home, no matter what you do on the street, no matter what you do, what you did in your school, or where you were working before, this is what we do here. So we have the LTD, an associate, PLC, whatever company is, we have our own culture. The good culture in business will be the culture that is result-orientated. The reason why I want you to dress well is because you meet clients. It's not because I care about your dressing. If you are a back-end person, nobody sees you, trust me, if you like, don't brush your hair when you come in. Because it really doesn't affect the business. Does that make sense? So that our request should not be oppressive or us being a sadist or just wanting to control their life, the culture of freedom. As long as you can get what we want, do whatever you like. The reason why we care what time you arrive is because there's somebody to see you at that time. And remember the tripod we said, let there be consequence for this thing. Let it be swift. Let them see. You can't run a company where the good, the bad, and ugly are treated the same way. It's not going to work. Not only because it's not fair, already because it's not fair. Because if you do not reward the good, what incentive has the bad got to become good? If you do not punish the bad, what consequences has the incentive, has the good got to remain good or go better? And then if you now turn it all around, if you do a management style that is touchy-feely, either nepotistic or friendly, if you promote people who are nice to you, other people will leave their job and they'll keep nice. People will leave their desk to come and say good morning to you, sir. Rather than do their job, they want to appear to be doing it. So the company culture, and I'm going to stop here because we hope as we go on in the year, when we talk about, I think one of the topics we're going to look at is HR leading the culture of excellence. We also need to look at, and I think somebody has mentioned it, the oil and gas lady, how do we get the management buy-in? That is a crucial thing that we really need to sit down for another roundtable. We've talked about communication, we've talked about connectedness, but we really need to sit down to have a clear strategy of getting management buy-in. And as we've said, and here I stop, one shorthand to get management buy-in is to talk about results. No matter how brash, no matter how anything management is, if you can show them by going this way, they will get results. You tend to get their attention. What is the result they want? They want to reduce costs, save time, increase profit. Once you can gather those 3 things in everything you say, save time, reduce cost, increase profit, you get their attention. I yield.
Okay. Before your question, value. How do you get them to deliver value? Simple. Just apply your performance management system. You know, once there is a clear communication on expectations and it is agreed, you don't care how he does it, but the agreement, you begin to manage it. And that's why in my office, on my performance system is a daily thing for me. You monitor, you review every day, you click on asking them. they will not change. Like rightly said, those days, if your mama is talking to you with how you understand. My kids today, if you don't give them a reason for your action, they will ask you. They will ask you. I told somebody in my office a couple of days ago, I was, because I know, can you please stand up? He said, why should I stand up? Why should I stand up? Group head, HR, the group. So I have to explain, yes, you need to stand up because we wanted to. Okay. Then number two, sir. What I've said, this generation, the survey has done it, we've looked at it. The maximum time, years of something you can get is 3 years. Maximum. It has been proven, tested. You don't expect them to, to stay longer than that. They believe that they're wasting time. Somebody came to my colleague, he said, I am going because I want to test other waters. They believe they're unstable. So what do we do? Please do what Prof said. Have pipelines and keep them. So as they're going, you are replenishing. Don't get bothered whether they go. They don't live for us anymore. It's us that will stay in an organization for years. But then, 3 years, they're impatient.
Well, sure, there's one thing that needs to be said. And once they stay with us, though, we also need to create a way for them to regenerate themselves. New projects, new positions, training and, training, training and development, and getting them involved in more things. And you need to stretch them as well, stretch them. Challenging opportunities is the key word, yes. You want to say, who's got the microphone? Yeah, we can run.
Good afternoon again. So I feel like I'm gonna have a couple of questions. I'm gonna ask a lot more questions before this session is over. So, like I mentioned earlier, I work in a service industry, and I don't know how many of us really have had the privilege of working in the service industry, but I tell you, it's not what you would expect. At least for me, it's not. So, the first question I want to ask, I think it's in relation to what Mr. Ayo said earlier, talking about trying to keep up with the trends and be more flexible. So a while back, we're trying to interview some new staff. We're trying to fill a position in the company. And during the interview, we had members of the board seated there. And then his phone rings. And all of us, we felt okay, probably a mistake, an oversight. He forgot to switch his phone and turn it closed on silent. And while we all stay patient and look at him, he picks up the phone and is like, and he goes, hello, an interview, let me call you back. Let me call you back, I'm an interview. And at that point, it just kind of turned us off because we're looking for someone who's going to cover. We're looking for someone who's going to fit into the company's culture. The culture we're trying to train, we're trying to raise, and all of that. And at that point, for everyone on the table, even though his interview wasn't really going that great anyway, but even though his interview was going that great, for us, it kind of felt like that's a no. So automatically, he failed that interview at the time. And that's why I thought to throw the question out to put the scenario out to a couple of professionals. I belong to some HR firms, and I asked a couple of people. I also put it on LinkedIn to see how people would react. And funny enough, I got a whole lot of reactions.
Yeah.
I think that's the largest number of engagements I've had on LinkedIn. And many of them were from business owners, and some people were also HR and recruiters. And many people said that why are we so strict? Why was he disqualified? What if it were an emergency? And I had to think about it in relation to what the man was here said, that their values, their cultures, And I believe an interview is also as important as any other thing we would consider important. So when you're going for something as important as an interview, you should treat it as such. And I had to ask, I engaged a couple of people and I said, um, if the interviews have their own etiquettes, and if you're going somewhere, you behave like the Romans. You're going to Rome, you behave like the Romans. If you're going for an interview, your phone, ideally, your phone shouldn't even be on, or it shouldn't even be able to ring out. You know, talk more of you sitting down there, and you've been introduced, and you're made to understand that the group head HR and every other person is seated there, and then you still feel it's okay to just randomly pick up your phone and say, "Oh, I'm in an interview. Let me call you back," and still repeatedly say that. I kind of felt like that was disrespectful to the board. One, because I mean, one of my bosses at that meeting said, "This kind of person, by the time we bring him in, he might be talking to the chairman, and his phone rings, and he just pick it up." The chairman is not exactly someone that would understand this generation the way it works, and so that makes me want to ask the question, yeah, even though we are trying to move with the trend, do we have to forget the values and like, because a lot of people kept throwing that question at me, that why are HR people so wicked? Why do they feel like they're gods? But then my own thing is, we don't have to be wicked. We don't seem to, we don't want to appear to be wicked, but then there are rules that have to be, rules are made, and there are rules that have to be kept. So I don't know, is there?
Okay, okay, okay.
I wanted to,
Sorry, I will still wait to learn from your experience, but I would like to still go back to what Paul said. It's not even at the point of entry on resumption that we start our work. What happened between you and the applicant? You have your culture, you have a set of people that wouldn't want a phone to ring while you're talking to them. While I was still consulting full time before going back to engagement, I went into an oil and gas company, very popular. And even the person walking me into the chairman's room had to drop his phone with the PA. They had a basket. He didn't say anything the moment he got there, dropped it. I didn't wait for him to say, you have to also drop. I was, through his action, I learned what their culture was. You don't take a phone into the chairman's room. Now, there's always a session, plenary session between us and candidates before it gets to that top level. It's always that probably final decision that they would. So what, there was a gap, with due respect to you. What did you do? Did you make them understand before you step even to the door? These are the do's and don'ts and all that. To me, probably the person would say, sorry, excuse me. And just like you also said that it could be an emergency, it could, or probably, sometimes we also keep them waiting. He could have scheduled that telephone call, even while waiting or while the time you gave him and all that. Probably a few minutes in between, he had to receive that call. Important or not important, that's just the way they are wired. It could be even older than that kind of generation type. So we need to do a lot. And even for the phone call to ring, for my own, if I were to be part of I would look at you and with the side of you have a query to answer. Why did this happen? Didn't you check? And if it's so important that you must not listen to or do any other thing while you are, so please, I would advise while we grow in the career, we learn a lot. And we also have to do a lot to even get a plus from our employers going through the ranks. You have to do your bit at the grassroots, at the background, so that when you even said they could be the worst candidates, but by the time they get in there, the panelists say, yes, this is the best, because we see the skills. It's just to mentor through and bring out the best in this person. Maybe there's some skills and all that. The person you feel, let me just add to the numbers, could be the person to be chosen. But we have to make sure all these gaps are closed properly before we get there. Peradventure, you could have received a query because that happened as a HR person, because you lead the team into the panel room most often at interviews. So whatever happens there on candidates is a reflection of the work you have done with them. Probably missing documents or something. So we have to tidy up our desk before we finally present our candidates. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I was just going to add, in addition to what you've said and your thinking, organizational culture exists for a reason. There will be moments where people just coming into the organization. I mean, this is the entire essence of onboarding and just blending people into the system. So again, HR with empathy, a lot of EQ infused into our work. We just have to, some people you're dealing with, especially with, we're talking about millennials, Gen Zs, um, it's a different type of water that they are drinking, that they've drunk. That's the truth. They're very fragile. They are fragile. They're not, they're emotional beings. And all the issues that, and very audacious, all the issues that we're uncovering now with behavioral issues, attention deficits, hyperactivity, they're bringing it into the workspaces. It's not reserved for the home. So we as HR, we have to expand our tolerance, our resilience, change management, people management as well. Because we don't want to lose talent because of reasons that are not as serious. It's a behavioral thing. If and can be corrected easily. So again, staying ahead of the game, we just have to be very light on our feet. If you carry a big stick, you wield gently. So that would need a very light touch and stylish touch with management and with the candidates at the same time. What, 52% of Nigerians are in that age group. I think that says we have to change first as HR before we even get them to make some amendments. We have to understand and change and accept them and embrace them, embrace those behavioral things. It has to be like that. Otherwise, we cannot get the best out of them. And I know that gentleman has left, but the trigger question, those people who don't want to conform, let me put it like that, give them leadership roles. Give them tasks. Let them lead that change. Let them understand first, why we have this dress code. And then you be my champion. Sometimes it works. If they are not troublemakers, it works. Thank you.
Thank you. What I'd like to add first, before COVID, till end of 2019, the World Bank was muting a statement about Nigeria. They're very, very interested in Nigeria. They said, we are overpopulated, chasing very little money. Very little. Not little, very little. And we are really overpopulated. So with all that you've said, somebody coming in with to the interview with a phone, giving him grace, and they said, that's why you need Ciaps. That's the purpose. No, that's the purpose of this forum. That's how can we help you to put the right person in the right place. Before he comes into that interview, he's gone through us. And the first thing, in my place of work, I'm the only one that picks my phone, nobody else. First time you are seeing me, I'm the one that can look at my phone because you are here for me before I get there for you. So we'll do that. We'll culture them. We'll know who can fit into oil and gas, who can fit into media, who can fit into manufacturing, marketing. Like, I'm selling now. So we have to do that for you. That's one of the reasons, that's the main reason behind this forum, to get you to know the service we can provide for you. That headache will remove it by 60%. I can assure you, anybody that Ciaps sends to you will definitely come up well touched. Thank you.
If I should say this, expectation management is critical. Of a truth, that thing that happened to you, if it happens 5 years ago, is an offense, is an insult. But now, I'm serious. 5 years ago, if you want to go for interview, you must put on tie, you must suit up, you must do everything, isn't it? But now, people come to interview with slippers, straight jeans. People, you see, what you need to look out for, it is the compulsion. For example, somebody picks his phone. How did he respond thereafter? Did he say, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to? That's the thing. So this is where we say hello guys, this is why we say we hire for aptitude, not for skills. Skills you can learn, you can train, but attitude you can change. Because if somebody picks his phone, he should be able to say, sorry, I have to pick this up. Oh, sorry, I must pick this phone. That's courtesy. And those are the things we need to pick from the boy. It is normal. Oh. Don't feel bad. The chairman should not feel bad. I said I was talking to my daughter, Dad, don't be silly. And when I look within the context that she said it, really, I was silly. I'm not joking. Because I shouldn't have said what I said. Really, I was truly silly. But those days, my idea, I will slap the face. Do you understand it? The people of nowadays now, what they interact with is far, far more what we interacted with. They are 247 on their phone. You are not alone. I've interviewed people. Senior, the guy, the small boy, just walked into the and the phone he puts on. Can we please switch off your phone? He said, sorry, I don't switch off my phone. And we thought he will compose. The next thing, ma'am, he was looking at the phone. But what were we looking for? He has the skill we want to have, but we're matching the behavioral fit now to our own. And that's our responsibility. We are not the hiring manager. The line manager is the hiring manager. We're just the recruiter. We're trying to look at behavioral fit and cultural fit. The technical competence is the responsibility of the hiring manager. The line manager supervisors. So please, it happens. Don't feel bad about it. My question, I have this question, and I want us to talk about it. Is or should we give an unmarried female employee maternity leave? Unmarried, you know, by your record, he's not married, he's single, but he's pregnant and delivered. Is he eligible for maternity? Why? I need to hold on. Why?
I just mentioned now that that even going back to the maternity session in the labor law,
There was it happened in my office years back, and this lady got pregnant, unmarried, and all that. And the line manager said, no, she has to leave my unit. And wherever she fits in, any other manager can adopt her. We're like, excuse me, how would you define that or defend that? And I said, that's just you. You can't get pregnant because of the way he thinks. I defended the case by bringing out the labor law. And I said, where is it a married woman? And he was like, whatever decision you take, write me. And he left the room. The labor law never mentioned a married woman is entitled to. So why would I? And any other thing we do, apart from, the labor law is actually to guide us, at least in Nigeria. Why international, if you're working in international, you have expertise and all that, you still have to work with that. I always win the case. And who knows, by the time you talk to these ladies that, and even we that were already married or something, how did it happen? And everybody, and even the man fighting, I said, how would you feel if I call your wife and ask, was she preventing before marriage? She made a mistake and whatever. And the culture had actually been brought into the workplace.
So it's at our level, just like Prof still reiterated, learn, study, and study. So I'm able to, I didn't even, I just said it off and I said, sorry, did the labor law say a married woman is entitled to? Go back to check. And by the time I returned to my seat, I just googled up and brought out that maternity pack and shared it to the management team. And that was it. Because I know what the policy states.
You will be shocked that in reality. She wants to talk. Oh, she wants to talk. Okay. Well, I'll just say, you said you weren't ready. You've read it. No, it just came back to you. But I just wanted to say that thing about reading. That sometimes you read things, you think you don't know them. But when circumstances come, they pop up again.
Thank you. I also want to add, since we are this based on this married woman or single pregnant woman, since we are also in a world where we are willing to accept and adopt the behavior of the Gen Z, why can't we adopt the fact that a single woman could just decide she wants to be pregnant, she doesn't want to remain married? So as long as it's maternity does, she's a mother, she doesn't have to be married to be a mother. I mean, with the world we're in today. So if we can take that for the Gen Zs, why is it different for the woman?
So, thank you. You know, it's a concluding remark from me that please, as HR professional, we must read. And once you read, you apply it along the global trend and situate it within the context of that moment. Of a truth, labor law said it is a married. But if you don't read and you get yourself in a moment like that, and you don't quickly go and read it, you know you could be thrown off guard and you take a decision that is wrong. Those of us that have worked in a unionized environment, you have to be ahead of union to live. So reading, learning is the hallmark. Thank you.
Any further question or comment? Okay. In closing, my closing remarks are that the employee life cycle is still the same. Those things are, the structural things are the same. The framework is the same. The interpretation of those things in context of the changes that has happened in the world, in the country, industry, technology-wise, those are the ones we just need to factor in. The main things are still the same. So the future of work, the present of work, those are the things we just need to factor in and be ahead of the game. Try to be ahead of the game. That's where relevance lives. Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of Ciaps and the team behind this forum, I would like to say thank you to each and everyone that has attended physically and online. Thank you very much, and we'll keep up the flow of communication. Yes. Thank you very much for coming.
I'll send it to you.